Okay, it's 12 o'clock. And so I will begin. Gina. So today is like a lunch and learn. So feel free to get up and grab more food during the presentation, as we're engaging. There's lots of food back there. So feel free to get up and grab food, and feel free to eat during the presentation. We're so happy to have all of you here. Gina, are we good to go online? We sure are. Okay, awesome. So welcome everybody to our first presentation of the new year. Happy New Year to all of you. I can't believe 2023 is here. I'm still writing 2022 and getting emails back that says it is 2023. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm learning how to write 2023, but I am Dr. Pam Herr, and I am the Vice President of the Multicultural Coalition, Inc. And I'm so delighted to welcome all of you. Thank you for your time and your partnership over the last several years. And we look forward to more collaborations and partnerships with you in 2023. Just a couple of things that I wanted to go through. Some housekeeping things. Restrooms are out the door to your left, down the hallway. And I think they're on one on each side. I can't tell you what is on each side, but you can figure it out when you're walking down the highway. Or the highway, the hallway. That's a highway as well too. The other thing that I wanted to do a shout out to is to the Fox Valley Tech. Thank you so much for allowing us this space. We've got William back there. Thank you, William, from the Tech. Yeah. And they've been so gracious to allow us to use their spaces for our meetings, and we're so thankful for that. In addition to that, I want to do a shout out to Gina. She is phenomenal. We could not do any of these meetings or any of the online things without Gina, without Maria. Maria, where are you? Yay. And Anne-Marie, the three of them. All the food you're eating, all the snacks, everything is because of them and their due diligence in getting everything here. Otherwise, it was just Lisa and I, we'd be late. You wouldn't have any food, and we just start talking right away. So with that, I want you to enjoy yourself today. I have a couple of announcements that I want to make in regards to what we're doing at MCI, as well as also community updates for you in regards to COVID-19, some of the things that have come down. So right now, DHS has a telehealth program. I know some of you are familiar with that, others may not. But if you know of individuals who have COVID or have been sick with COVID and get COVID again, whatever the case may be, they have a telehealth line where they can call and get a medical professional to give them antiviral medication if they're deemed necessary for that individual. In the past, we've been sending people to their primary care physicians, but what we've been finding within our communities of color is that many of them don't have primary care physicians. So we've been referring them to partnership and other places to get help or direction on what to do if they are getting a very severe case of COVID. So I wanted to share that with you. Gina will send it out, the links for that, as you're working with the families within our community. If you find people that need that information, please share it with them. The other thing is that we also, in December, the government is also giving another round of rapid test kits out for free. So if you have families that are interested in getting rapid test kits, or if you're interested in getting it yourself, Gina will send out the link to you after our session, and then you can share that with anybody in our community. In addition to that, MCI will continue to do vaccination pop-up clinics. And they're not just vaccination pop-up clinics anymore. We call them our community events because these clinics, we have community partners. Many of you are here in this room with us, but we provide a lot of different resources for our community members that come in to see us. So we will get more information out to you on the dates and times and locations of that. We are focused primarily on the bivalent booster at our vaccination clinics or our community events. So that is what we are providing to our communities because we find that they are having difficulty with accessing that booster. So that's what we're doing. But if you have someone that doesn't need a booster, but they need information and resources, please send them to our events because we do have a lot of resources and a lot of partners that come in and they can just come in and talk to that partner. They don't have to come in and get boosted or anything like that. Okay. All right. With that said, I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to bring Sarah Schneider up. Everybody give a round of applause for Sarah. Sarah has been wonderful and she's been instrumental in the last year in bringing in very wonderful speakers and powerful resources within our community. So without further ado, Sarah.
Thanks, Dr. Pam, and what a great turnout, you guys. And as I'm listening to Dr. Pam do the announcements, I'm reading in the podium, knowledge that works. And I'm thinking, what a powerful hour we have ahead of us to gain additional knowledge. So again, William, thank you for making this possible for us. I also want to do a shout out, and I hope I'm not stealing your conclusion, Dr. Pam, but Egg Rolls Inc. lunch is provided by Egg Rolls Inc. today. And I don't know if anyone here is here on behalf of Egg Rolls, or I don't see belong in the room, but what a great addition to making this fill our bellies with good food. Okay, today, excited, super excited. Liz and Lauren were both referred to me, and it was kind of one of those must meet, must have, must host these ladies in their program today. And so I brought my computer up so I can read their bios and articulate appropriately what you are about to hear. Lauren is the program coordinator at Feeding America, East Wisconsin. She's been with the organization since January 2022, so happy anniversary. And she believes that access to food should be equal and equitable across our nation. She spends time facilitating a variety of programs such as the Tribal Elder Box Program, Healthy Diabetic Box Program, and many more. With her continued education in psychology, Lauren likes to understand the full scope of issues at hand and investigate the why behind them. She hopes to focus her future on spreading awareness of the cultures that are often overlooked in the food system and creating solutions to bring them culturally relevant, healthy food. Lauren lives in Menasha with her husband, Cody, and their two dogs, Captain and Gypsy, and she enjoys being outside and active and admiring her many houseplants. We have a lot in common. It is houseplant day today. Mine aren't looking so healthy, so that is odd that it would be this time of year. Liz is also joining us. She's the nonprofit professional who specializes in fundraising, relationship building, and community collaboration. She currently serves as vice president of Northeast Wisconsin at Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. Liz is a community volunteer and advocate, in addition to serving as a board member for the Association of Fundraising Professionals and the Fox Cares Foundation. She's the founding member of Monthly's Project, which is working to eliminate the period poverty in the Fox Valley. So good. Liz graduated from UW Oshkosh with a dual major in special education and early childhood education. She and her husband, Luke, enjoy tackling home improvement projects. Come on over, and spending time at the lake with their son, JJ, and their rescue pup, Gunner. So without further ado, Liz and Lauren, please join us. Let's give them a warm MCI applause.
Thank you. And thank you guys for the warm welcome. It's always nice to talk about your pets because then people are like, oh, I like a pet person. Nobody can argue with that. So thank you for the warm welcome. Thanks for the introduction. I mean, we're really just here to talk about what seems to be everyday work in our lives. And what I hope to take away from this is opportunities to partner even deeper in our community. I want us to kind of share with you what we've been working on, how we interact with the community at Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. And I hope to get your wheels turning so you can see some similarities in the work you do or potential for partnership or something so we can expand our reach in our community. Everyone here is doing amazing work, and it's just impossible to find what all those nooks and crannies are, but this is such a great platform and a great place to bring all of us into one space to talk about, share ideas, and hopefully make more of an impact collaboratively. So really that's my intention of being here. I am just going to give kind of a quick overview of our organization for those of you who are not familiar with how we work and what we do. And then Lauren is here to really dive deeply into one of our programs in particular to give you a better idea of how all these little pieces and parts work. And she's the expert at that. So she's going to handle that piece. So that's why we're here together. We are not related. People have asked us that. So just, we're going to take that off the table. So Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin, one of the biggest questions we get is, what is the difference between a food bank and a food pantry? Does anybody here know? That's perfect. I love that. We should just use that moving forward. So for those of you who are joining virtually, she said food bank stores the food, food pantries distribute it. That's basically how it is. We are here to provide the food to fill the gaps at the boots on the ground level. As you can see from on our map there, we have a really large territory that we work with. We're working with over 400 food pantry, homeless shelter, food program type organizations, and from all over the state. And the beauty is that those pantries work in the communities and understand the needs of that community and that population. So what they're saying to us is, you know, we really are looking for this type of food, or we don't get this type of food donated, or these are what people are looking for in our community. And we need to take that feedback, and that's how we help source those products. We don't work in Vilas County. I don't know what Vilas County needs, so I rely on that food pantry partner. How the benefit that we bring to them is that we can source food in scale. We've got semis, we've got a warehouse. We can get food at a scale that these smaller organizations wouldn't have access to otherwise. And so that is the benefit to partner with us. In addition, we have other resources we can help with. We can help with grant writing. We can help with fundraising. We can help provide things that typically lovely volunteers that are running these food pantries just don't have access or capacity to do. So this is how we collectively work together to work 35 counties in Eastern Wisconsin, and we're serving just around 500,000 people through that network. So that's just a background. This is what we do. Also, if you have any questions at any point in time, please just raise your hand. We're not on a roll, so you can interrupt. Go ahead. We'll go to the next one. So this is our flow of food, which I apologize, the text is so little, but it's a good graphic to give us an idea of how the food moves. So the first little box up here is food is donated, whether that's from a food manufacturer, retailers. So we're talking about, you know, the Walmarts, the Krogers, the grocery stores of the world, or a food drive. It's donated. It comes to our food bank where it's then processed. Many of our donations need to be touched by volunteers before they can go out. So whether that's putting ingredient labels, cooking instructions, whether that's taking, 10-foot cones of cereal and breaking it into a little tiny bag of cereal so you can take it to your home. All of those things happen in our warehouses. We have one in Appleton and one in Milwaukee. And without our community volunteers, that food wouldn't go out. So it's all processed in our warehouse and then moves out to our food pantry partners. The partners access our food through, I call it the Amazon for food pantries. It's really just our online shopping experience. And when I say shopping, I mean they have all of the inventory at their fingertips, which they can access at no cost through our network and through our partnership. So that's kind of how this works. The bottom part, so that's the top scale. The bottom part is talking about funds. So how do we make all of this happen? It's through the generosity of our communities. And so that is community donations come in. We also purchase food. It's not just all donated food to fill in gaps. We're talking about peanut butter. We're talking about proteins, things that we don't see donated as often to make sure that the variety is there for our individuals. So this is kind of just our flow. It's on our website if you really want to dive into it, but kind of makes sense. This is just a snapshot of the scope of our work. We have, these are volunteers. These are mobile pantries. These are families served. These are the categories that we distribute by number, kind of just this fun little graphic of the amount of impact that we have in the community. So again, not going to go through them all, but it's kind of a fun thing to take a look at. The biggest thing that we want you to take away from this is the need of in our community. So with the data, the most recent data that we're working with here is that 1 in 8 people don't know where their next meal is coming from. When you're looking at kids, that's actually 1 in 5 right now. And if you, depending on the community as well, and it's not isolated to a single area. So one of the struggles that we have is that we're working with a large area like Milwaukee, and we're also working with a large rural area like Vilas County. So each of these communities needs different work and different ways to get food to people who need it. The other thing and the other common misconception is that the only people who have food insecurity issues are people who are homeless, you know, and a lot of the things that the people that we work with, they have houses. They're just making those really tough decisions between paying their electric bill and buying their groceries, or putting gas in their car and buying groceries. And so everyone is struggling with these things, that it all looks different. And that's why it's so hard to identify and hard to help. So this is kind of our first foray into hunger not discriminating. So as an organization, historically, we're 40 years old as an organization, 7 years here in the Fox Valley. We've done our business primarily through this one model, which is your food comes to the food bank, it goes to the food pantries, people go to the food pantries and they take it home. And what we're realizing now is we are missing entire populations of people because that food pantry method may not work for them for whatever reason that is. They work at hours that the pantries are open, and so they can't make it there on time. They don't have the transportation to get to the food pantry. They come to the food pantry and they look at what's available and they say, I don't recognize any of this food, and so I'm not going to take it home. And so we're starting to find these gaps that are in our service. And now with our program capacity, we're trying to figure out how to close those gaps. So on the board, we have a few of our programs that we have put together to kind of address these issues. The top one is our Farm Link program. And this is a way for us to access fresh produce locally, to have more produce available for the food pantry system. And the really fun thing though about Farm Link is that it is working with local farmers. So as you can see right now, we have 4 local farmers that we contract with, and it is a contract. So at the beginning of the year, they understand how many acres they are farming just for us. They have a guaranteed amount of money up front to help them purchase seeds, help them purchase equipment. It is basically saying, hey, we believe in you, we want your food, and we're ready to help you expand your business. For us, the benefit is we get local, beautiful produce as quickly as possible. I mean, if you're buying some produce, it's sitting on a truck coming from California. And this is coming straight from Wisconsin. Of course, we have limitations because we live in Wisconsin. We have maybe not as big of a variety of those items, but it still is wonderful. And it's a great way to work together locally. So that is FarmLink. We could dive into that for a whole hour, but we can always talk more. Eat Well for Life is a program that we are partnering with Be Well Fox Valley and several of the local health systems. And that focus is on providing foods that are healthy for those who are facing diabetes. And so we're put together a program that is education, part coaching, and part providing food that is healthy for a diabetic lifestyle, not only for the individual who's in the program, but for their entire family, because that person is not going to just go home and eat that food in a vacuum. We're hopeful that it is shared within their family structure. And so meeting them where they're needed. And then in addition to that, we do diabetic friendly boxes that can go out to some of our food pantries to meet those needs. Mobile pantries is on here because those are distributions that we hold out of our back of our semi trucks. We have often food deserts, or where there is not a food pantry, not a grocery store, and people don't have access to get groceries that they need. So we will bring a whole semi load of food and drop it in a community, and those community members can come to that parking lot or school or wherever we host it and pick up food. The Nurturing Collaborative is something new for us. It is in our Milwaukee market, but I wanted to mention it because we're focusing on the on the birth disparities that are happening in some of our communities and focusing on BIPOC mothers and families. And what it is our boxes of family-friendly foods and boxes of items that you would need as an expectant parent and a new parent. In addition to receiving these boxes, it's also connecting them into the WIC program and connecting them into the SNAP food share, and really just coaching and working with some of the populations that we're finding are not being helped as much. And then that leads us to our Tribal Elder Box program, which is in year 2 of our program, and what is probably one of the most, I don't know, intricate, sure, I love that word, intricate, detailed, complex programs that we host. And that's why we brought Lauren, our expert, to talk about tribal elder boxes and how this program works. So I'm going to let her take the stage.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to talk about the Tribal Elder Box program. On the screen, you can see, can you hear me okay? I feel better looking this way. Okay. So you can see a couple of the key problems that were brought to light that really created this program. Like Liz mentioned before, the average person in Wisconsin, it's 1 in 8 that reports being not having access to healthy food and being food insecure. For Native Americans, it's actually double that. So 1 in 4 are reporting that they don't have access to healthy food or culturally appropriate food. Another thing that Liz mentioned are these food deserts. So places that these reservations are normally located are out in extremely rural areas where grocery stores and food pantries are very, far apart and miles away from each other. Also, that transportation piece, a lot of the elders that we work with don't have vehicles. They don't have access to public transportation and things like that. So all of these were led up to the creation of the Tribal Elder Boxes. So 2021 was the first season that we put everything on. Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin, along with Feeding Wisconsin, UW Extension, Wisconsin Food Hub Cooperative, all teamed up and saw this problem and wanted to figure out a way to kind of tackle it. So we partnered with the Wapaka Food Hub Cooperative, which is this huge giant warehouse in Wapaka, to purchase all of this food and ship it to their warehouse. We then transported a bunch of our volunteers there for 12 repacks, usually on Wednesdays. And then they packed 10,000 boxes by the end of the program to distribute those out to 7 of the tribal nations in Wisconsin. And then in the 2022 season, we added a couple new partners. So UW Health Tide, the Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection. And instead of going to Wapaka to pack everything, since we were doubling the boxes that we needed to do every Wednesday or every other Wednesday, we thought logistically and operationally, it would be a lot better to just have everything, all of the food shipped to our Appleton Food Bank. A lot easier to get people there than Wapaka. So we packed 1,800 boxes, each repack. Like I said, it was right around every other Wednesday or so. We did 15 repacks between May and December. And what was really cool about this last season was that instead of 7 tribal nations, we partnered with all 11 federally recognized tribes in the state of Wisconsin to give those boxes out to their elders. So this is a map. It took me forever to put together. But this is a very deep dive into what our Monday and Tuesday process looks like. So this is, like Liz said, it's very intricate. It takes a bunch of time from all of these different people in our internal and external partners to put this together. But so the process and goal on Monday and Tuesday is for all of these producers, and we have a lot more than this, to harvest and get their food to the Wapaka Food Hub Cooperative, which is the WFHC, the little green rectangle. So like you can see, Naturally Wild is located right on the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin. They travel probably 7 hours to get their wild rice to us. But it's all about the intention behind it all. So we want to make sure that we're putting the money back into these people who can support their community and really just get the most out of this program. So everything is harvested and shipped to the Paca Food Hub on Monday or Tuesday. And then our driver comes from Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin, that Star, on Tuesday afternoon to pick everything up and ship it back and store it for the next day. Some staple items that you can see are aquaponic lettuce, maple syrup, corn mush flour, jam, wild rice, squash, fresh herbs, bison, whitefish, trout, and there are so many more things. And then a look into our repack day and the beautiful items. I love, that's one of the best things about this program, I think, is just like how beautiful everything looks when it comes in and knowing that it's going to somebody that needs it. So we have 2 packing shifts every other Wednesday, one from 8 to 11 a.m. and then one from 11:30 to 2:30 p.m. We have about 15 to 20 volunteers each shift to make sure that they're not rushing through everything and getting done super early. But we want to make sure that they do get done because it's very timely. And then it's a really quick turnaround. So like I said, everything comes in on Tuesday afternoon around 1 or so, and then it's packed into these individual boxes, put back on the truck, back to Alpaca by Wednesday afternoon. So it's about a 24-hour turnaround where this is all condensed into a box. And then if you can click on the pack day, there should be a hyperlink to take you to a video.
Sorry, the dual screen gets me. Oh no, I don't even know what it says. It's a potential security concern.
Oh, I swear it's okay.
Sorry, William, if I shouldn't have. All right, now that's open here, so we're just getting our steps in. Okay, what do we have? Oh, thank you.
Can they hear it online?
They should be able to. Hi, I know her. Oh, you can see it. if you would mind just doing a quick recap of what we saw and then tell the people at home that we'll get that link to them too.
Yeah, so that was a quick video just highlighting the.
Sorry.
He was one of our volunteers. He was really, really great. He helped a lot with the travel boxes. But yes, that was a very high level, but a lot of really good information. Video that we had on the travel boxes. We had a couple people at the end from the different tribal nations, like Marlon from Oneida and Jen is from Menominee, just talking about the impact that it has on their community. And if we can secure funding for the future, we would be able to do this long term, which is kind of the goal. But yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Right, and back to our slideshow.
All right, and another map. So this is a look into our Thursday and Friday process. So after the boxes are packed on Wednesday, they get shipped back to the Wapaka Food Hub Cooperative. And then the next morning on Thursday, they're all loaded up onto the truck. And like I said, this is super timely. They need to go to the nations. So right above De Pere, just for example, that is the Oneida Nation. I know that they have their distribution of their boxes to their elders on Friday mornings at 8 a.m. So it's super important that they get their boxes delivered to them on Thursday afternoon so they can prep and get ready for the elders that are going to be lined up. So you can see that's probably an 8 or 10 hour drive that they have to take. The one on the right is the route that they take on Thursday. And then the route on the left is the route that they take on Fridays. Some additional items that we supply in the boxes, and I brought some examples. I don't know if you want to pass those around, Liz. But we have newsletters that we put in every boxes, surveys to make sure that the elders are getting things that they actually enjoy and that they eat and cook, and then native wellness magazines as well. So this is an example of one of the newsletters that was in one of the boxes around Thanksgiving, I think. We just want to make sure that they know exactly where all of the food is coming from. They know the grower and where it's located in Wisconsin, so they could Google it and learn more about their producer of that item. We have recipe spotlight, so they can take some of the items in their box and actually make these recipes and give them ideas on things to create with that. And then a producer spotlight as well. So more information about the grower, producer, the harvest, their history, how they got started, all that good stuff. So then the impact. By the end of the program, we distributed 25,000 boxes to the 11 federally recognized tribes in the state of Wisconsin. We worked with 16 tribal producers in the state of Wisconsin, 1 in Minnesota and 2 in Michigan. And then 60% of the tribal elder budget has gone to Indigenous growers, putting money back into the tribal communities and bringing this program, I think, really truly full circle. And that's what I always forget to mention the pictures, but my coworker Kara, she was in the video before. She is the fresh procurement coordinator. So she has a really good relationship with all of the producers and the growers. She can call them, and yeah, they have a great relationship. But her and I got to go to one of the distributions in Kashina or Menominee. So we actually got to go out there and see all of the elders lining up in their cars, getting super excited to receive their boxes, and, you know, listening to like the playful banter between the distribution leader and the elder in the car. So that was really, really cool to see. Thoughts, questions?
Yeah, let's open it up to question and answers, and if you want to let people on the watching at home, I will be watching the chat too.
Perfect. Yeah.
Just wondering if you guys can work with big pigs.
Yes, we do. The only thing that we ask on our end, honestly, that is a non-negotiable for any partnership is that they cannot charge for food on their end going out to the individual. It doesn't matter to us what type of organization you are, what your beliefs are, those kinds of things. We serve all of them. Yep, so that is our only non-negotiable.
All right.
Yes.
So geographies of that program list.
Yes,
You had 5 programs up there,
he did.
like we talked about the tribal program.
Yep.
The 11 nations.
Yep.
But what are the geographies of service and other ones?
So FarmLink, we would work with any farm partner that would be within Wisconsin, I would say, just because we can't distribute food as Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin outside of our 35 counties. And the reason for that is there are food banks that service the other western part of the state. The difference with the Tribal Elder Box program is it's part of Feeding Wisconsin, which is like our state association. So that's why that's a little bit different. But Eat Well for Life is a Fox Valley focused program. And that's the diabetic boxes. The Nurturing Collaborative, that's a Milwaukee focused program. I'm trying to think what else was on there. Want to go back? No, mobile pantries. Mobile pantries are anywhere within our territory. I was like, I have to go with this. So, and those were just an example. We have smaller programs than that touch little other populations. Right now, we're working with the new Hmong professionals to put some, we have a fun little program right now where some of the Hmong elders come to our facility to grow and harvest greens out of the hydroponics there. So there are some that are, I don't know what we call them, unofficial, but they're still partnerships that are helping us learn what's needed in the community. And what's really great is that we have partners like this that can come forward and say, this is a need that we see in the community, you provide the food need, and then we have to work collaboratively to figure out how to get there. This program, this Tribal Elder Box program, would not have been successful if it was just Lauren and I sitting at a table and saying, there's a problem, we're gonna solve it, right? That we would have no idea how to go about that. The only reason it was successful is because we brought in tribal representatives from all of these places that were facing these issues and said, sit down, tell me what's happening in your community, tell me how we can make this work, tell me what days work for you, tell me what producers you know. And it was having those ideas and those voices there to direct the action. We only had access to the trucks in the warehouse, right? That was what we were bringing to the table. We didn't have anything else other than that. And so this group, we meet every single week to talk about this.
This morning.
Yeah, right, this morning. And sometimes it's, everything's going great, we don't need anything, okay, bye. And sometimes it turns into a 3-hour meeting and you just have to make that work. And so I would say any of these programs, their success is really beholden to having all of those voices at the table, and the decisions are not just held by organization, but is really collaboratively put together. So I know that I took your question and ran, but I'm sorry.
May I interrupt, Oliver? Sorry. Liz, would you be able to just repeat what the question is? And then it would be helpful to pop onto the microphone if you don't mind. Just want to make sure people can hear.
I'm sorry, I am doing a very bad job.
So I don't want to distract anybody.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Okay, so the question was, what is the service area of our programs? And so I hope that you could kind of maybe hear me in that answer.
I recapped in the
Thank you.
chat, but yes, thank you so much.
I was like, I have a loud voice for this room, but I forget that people are listening, so I'm sorry.
I want a little tag on that one.
Yes.
Let's, how do you guys do it?
Oh, sure. Okay, so the question is based, he was curious if how do we get the Nurturing Collaborative up here? So great question. We haven't even launched that program in Milwaukee yet. It officially launches January 25th. So we can possibly, yes. It's the reason that it's starting in Milwaukee is that just like all of our other programs, it's not just housed in a vacuum. It's because of a bunch of different community entities in the Milwaukee area that were throwing their hands up and saying, this is an issue that we're seeing, and now we're pulling everyone together. So the idea is that once we can find some success with it, you know, kind of like a pilot, figure out what we need to do, that the intention would be able to do that in communities throughout our service area. So
we'll come find you then. Anybody else?
With the Eat Well for Life, the diabetic boxes, how do you find the individuals or families that need that?
That's a really great question. So the question was, how do we find the individuals who are enrolled in the Eat Well for Life program? So that is outside our scope of work. That is the Be Well Fox Valley, partnering with the health systems. They have AmeriCorps members that do this intake process. So all of our health system partners have access to Eat Well for Life, like brochures and things like that. And so when the providers are meeting with individuals who are facing food insecurity and also have a certain A1C level that would qualify them for the program, they can say, you know, this is a program that we have available. This might help you in, you know, with what you had going on in your life. Would you be interested? We have someone you could call, or we can call you and get you enrolled. So it's all through the health system, getting people who would qualify for the program. And then our AmeriCorps team kind of makes those calls and follows up, and not our AmeriCorps, their AmeriCorps team, to get them enrolled into the program. And they're kind of like their case manager throughout. It's a 13-week program. And so they're there to help answer questions and help them through the process. So that's kind of how that functions.
Peter, is there anything to add to that? Like,
Yeah, I was like, Peter, would you like to share?
Not to put you on the spot, but
You did a great job. So again, it's a partnership, if you will.
Yep.
United Way helps fund it.
Yep.
Wendy's actually probably on the line right now. But,
She's probably grimacing at my explanation.
the biggest thing is right now it's still pilot. It's
Yep.
just focused on diabetes, people with diabetes. So it's healthy food to underserved populations that have a health condition. So a no-brainer, but the pilot right now is focused on diabetes. Thanks to the amazing. So from that perspective, healthy food to underserved populations that most people. Those are the things that we're looking to expand the program. So we're looking at the infrastructure, cost perspective. But how you contact those AmeriCorps volunteers. So you can also just contact Eat Well Fox Valley right on the South United website. So, we couldn't make it happen without those. So Wednesday night, how many boxes did you send out? It's been Uber, so there was a collaboration, I think Wendy wrote a brand.
Yeah.
Uber Eats.
DoorDash.
DoorDash.
Yeah. TM. All right, was that-
So
Yep.
it isn't something that's so well done. Program, community partnership, they play a huge role in there's a lot more that we can.
Thank you.
I'm sure no one knows.
She's typing. She's got you covered.
yeah, sorry, I didn't see Wendy, so I was just nervously typing and apparently distracting me further. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm wondering too, because I think Dr. Pam said before, that we know, and in my experience, a lot of the people don't necessarily have. And so if we're not seeing them in the medical study, how are we doing that? So are the AmeriCorps volunteers going?
So we do have some AmeriCorps. They're everywhere. But it's that intake that comes from partnership.
Yeah, it's limited in the amount of participants we can have at any given time at this point. And that's just based on trying to figure out what infrastructure is going to work best for the program. So hopefully.
Intake is just, sorry, just to clarify, intake is just happening in medical setting.
Well, if you're interested in learning more and how you can refer people to
Mhm.
this that you may know of, we can get a hold of Wendy and talk
Yeah,
to her
Wendy.
about the structure of that. And I just wanted to throw out there, Wendy's been working with MCI in this because
Yep.
part of this, the rollout, the pilot of this really didn't take into consideration, sorry, thank you. Really didn't take into, I never needed a mic, but I know they're online. Okay, so take into consideration the foods that are in those boxes and cultural foods. And as we start to expand this to understanding more, what types of foods are in there. So it's really not a full-fledged program that's been rolled out. To Peter's point, it's a pilot and looking at, the needs around that and some of the challenges with that. So we are working closely with Be Well as well too, as they look at what's encompassed in that food box, as well as Feeding America. And Liz and Lauren have been phenomenal. Part of one of our pillars is health equity as part of MCI and our focus. And it's not just about access to healthcare and all of that. It's also about food insecurities, adequate food access to foods that are healthy. So with that said, if you have more questions about that, we can refer it to Wendy. She's been very instrumental in helping us understand who gets referred, how do they get referred, and all of that. Gina will send out the link to that for everybody in your emails. So you'll get that along with Wendy's contact information. So if you want to know more about the program itself and what happens in the process and what the pilot looks like right now, feel free to reach out to Wendy. Is that fair? Okay. All right. Are there?
Well, I was gonna grab it, but I'll just have you repeat it. There are folks wondering
Okay.
how they can become a distribution area in the area. So this one actually came from Dora with St. Vincent de Paul specifically. We want to repeat it specifically to help people who don't have a driver's license that are close by to the downtown area.
Okay. So the question was, how do they become a distribution
Right,
center for?
is it possible for folks to pick up boxes at a
Okay.
specific location, knowing that the DoorDash option, is available, but aside from that, are there places that can be set up as a distribution center?
So if there are organizations that can sign up as distribution points where the food boxes can be dropped off at, where they can distribute it to their clients or people that are coming in to see them. I think that's the gist of the question, right?
Yes.
That would be you, right? You control the distribution centers? Okay. Yeah.
So another aspect of this Be Well program is a diabetic friendly food box that I run, and we run. And it is once a month. We put together shelf stable boxes full of a bunch of different food, and we ship them to, I want to say, like 12 different local organizations within the Fox Valley, all diabetic friendly, pre-diabetes, things like that. So Theta Cares, Hope Clinics, St. Vincent de Paul, they all receive those boxes on a monthly basis. And there really aren't any questions asked, I think. People can come in and grab them if they would like.
Just tell them to.
Oh, yes, please reach out to me. And I can help with that.
Yeah, do you have her contact information somewhere?
Okay, awesome. Yes. Lauren, if you want to, or if you're interested in being a distribution center for that and you're within the Fox Valley area, and that's just, we're based on funding for that the funding has to stay within there. So yes, please reach out to Lauren. Anything else?
Any other questions?
Yeah.
So with the upcoming governor's budget, are there any policies?
I wish that I had the really lovely email that our government and advocacy department sent to me last week. Yes, there are. And I would not be the best person suited to answer those questions. We legitimately have a team that focuses on government and advocacy and helps direct where our programming and other efforts go based on what we need to help those individuals that we serve. So if you are honestly, if you want information on that, I would be happy to share that. And our government advocacy team puts together a whole all-encompassing email that puts those things together so that we can share it with our donors and our funders locally. So they know what should I be looking for, what should I be talking about. So I'm happy to share that information. I would just butcher it if I tried to remember what she had told me. So I'm sorry. Yeah.
Your advocacy team reached out to me that they are doing some advocacy.
Yes.
Go through this training. They're also looking for local speakers to come in.
Yep.
They're maybe work with them, or they are maybe connecting you with them. They're looking for local speakers.
Yes, we are. We have the Food Leaders Lab, which is bringing people together who have an interest in food in any capacity. We have participants here in front of us currently. And the idea is to hear perspectives in the community and to help build advocacy training and things like that for people to make moves with their causes that's important to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I know it's a food leaders lab, but one of the things we discussed was it makes just as much sense to train people in childcare advocacy alongside, because they're similar and it's similar principles. So that's some of the things that we are also talking about.
Thanks, Annette. Yes. So if you're interested in anything like that, feel free to reach out. I'm getting the hook.
Let's give a round of applause for Liz and Lauren. Thank you so much. If you have further questions, we will send their contact information to you. So look at your email and you can further discuss anything that you didn't get an opportunity to talk about today. I just want to do a shout out to Liz and Lauren and Patty at Feeding America. They have been so instrumental in the work that we're doing through the Multicultural Coalition Inc. in working with our refugee community, looking at food insecurities there, looking at food insecurities with our Hmong community. So we've been having a lot of conversations with them and they have just been wonderful. So we are so blessed to have that leadership there where they are shifting their lenses to truly meet the needs of our community and through the lenses of our community, what those needs are. So feel free to reach out to them. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful presentation. I just want to give everyone just a few minutes. If you have anything that you want to share, any announcements from your organization that you want to share with the larger group before we leave, this is your time. I'm going to give you a few minutes. If anybody wants to share, whether you're online, if you want to type it into the chat box for Gina, and she can share it as well too. Yes, William.
I just want to jump out there and say on behalf of Crossville, we appreciate all the work that you do. Let's set an update, but thank you.
Thank you, William. But it's, yes.
I just want to give a brief announcement. Tammy, I'm from the governor's office, as we brought it up to this budget time. If you're not connected with them, it is a time to reach out to the governor's office and share your interests, concerns, agency needs with our office. And also, when you want a speaker from our office, or when you want possibly need help with information, just connecting, sharing stories. It's very easy to share information on the website. It does get read all the time by somebody there, and we do respond to everybody that reaches out to us, whether it's question, comment, need, whatever.
And Tammy, can we say you're the contact? Can we give your information out and people can reach out to you? Is that okay? Awesome. So we have someone local who's our contact. So if you have anything, we'll put out Tammy's information as well too in that email. Other announcements? Yes.
Building for this children's museum is continuing to expand our diversity and inclusion work, and we'll be posting in full-time positions on community access.
Awesome.
So if you know any
Yay. Okay. Well, we will make sure to introduce us to them. We'll try not to scare them away the first week. Thank you. Other announcements? Someone else raise their hand? Anything else? Yes.
So I'm starting to community health center. Some of you may see the news. If not, I understand. At the end of last year, the month still looking like starting April 1st, every state in the last 15. So, anyone who's on Badger Care, please, please, please urge them to update their contact information. They can do this, get access account by signing into that, or they can do the call center. But those call centers are getting inundated right now, so the more people who sign up for call access, and then update. Anyone missing out on communication saying they need to start thinking about providing information for renewals.
Okay. So that's really important. I think we're going to have more information go out from MCI. As you get that, let us know. You can send it out to everybody.
Yeah, meeting later this afternoon.
Okay.
Sometime from the state, and I'll connect you to that.
And that's important, especially for those of you who work with the communities of color, where there's cultural barriers and language barriers, and understanding what this process is going to look like and what's going to happen and all of that. So we are in the process of putting together information that we're going to get out to everybody, where you can share it at the level that community members understand what is going on. And partnership has been very instrumental in being a part of that process and trying to help kind of filter some of, and field some of those questions and some of those concerns. So keep an eye out on your email. If you get information about something, share it with us as well at MCI, but we will keep everybody in the loop because we need all of you and all of your support to help families that will be going off of Badger Care and then trying to figure out the insurance world of the health insurance world, trying to figure out what coverage they're going to need. And that is going to be a partnership with partnership as well too, with Covering Wisconsin and going to Covering Wisconsin and getting those applications in and all of that. So it's a very involved process. And as it evolves, we will send emails to all of you on what we know, what we've been given, information we've been given from partnership as well as the governor's office in regards to that. Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'll just, oh, I'm sorry. Was there anybody else? And then I'll take it from you if I can, just to read what I got on the chat.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Anybody else here?
We got 1 minute left.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Dr. Pam. Hold it. Okay, thank you, everybody. Just a couple extra here to read from the chat. Oops, sorry, ignore the screen. First one was from Mary Carmen of Reach Counseling. If you're not familiar, they offer services for victims of sexual abuse, advocacy, prevention, and counseling. And their update is that they are expanding services. So they are now covering Winnebago, Calumet, and Outagamie counties. That's actually something, Mary Carmen, just so you know, that we're planning on sharing on our Facebook page soon. And there is a donation option on their website too. So if that's something that speaks to, just know about that. And then we also have a message about an upcoming event taking place on Sunday, the 5th at 2 p.m. There is one in Waukesha and then another in Brookfield. But the event is called The Rise of the Christian Right and White Christian Nationalism. So that's going to be just a discussion to how to talk to family members about conspiracy theories and things that might be getting a little out of your hand in households, which I know I could use personally. And we'll send more information there if I shared about that. And then we'll share Mary Carmen's contact information as well. So thank you. And if you have anything else, just email them to me. I'll put my information in the chat as well.
Okay, I know everybody's getting ready to move out of here. Thank you again for your time. Our next session is going to be Tuesday, February 14th, and we will let you know the location for that, but for sure we'll offer a Zoom option as well. And we will have presenting the David Ramirez from the Mexican Consulate of Milwaukee will be here to talk about their services that they provide to the Hispanic, Latinx, Mexican community. So we've had the opportunity, MCI has had the opportunity to meet with them, and it was a eye-opening conversation on all the work that the consulate does. They do amazing work, and we don't even realize the amount of things that they do to help our communities. They've been doing the work primarily in Milwaukee areas and the big metro areas, but they are now expanding into more services here in Northeast Wisconsin. And so he's going to come out and have a conversation with all of us and share some of the things that they're doing. So please join us in February.